we're going to take a break from the show to feature a new segment that discusses an often overlooked aspect of the business. I'm speaking about creating a family-friendly environment inside the restaurant industry. With help from our friends at Family Forward NC, which is a program of the North Carolina Early Childhood Foundation, a nonprofit that works to support children and their families across the state, we're going to discuss ideas, resources, and testimonials from those that work within the company, as well as actual restaurant owners that have implemented family-friendly practices while working with Family Forward NC.
Former guest, Ms. Chris Reed, out there in Charlotte, and today Chris is here to talk about her business with Radal Hospitality and Sabor Latin Street Grill. Welcome, Chris.
Thanks, guys. Nice to be here.
Welcome back. So,
Thanks.
Talking about Family Forward NC, this has become a fun little segment. You know, I will say we're recording this segment separate from all the ones we had done before. And in between that time, we've received so much positivity from the restaurant community saying, I really appreciate you highlighting what's been going on in the community now more than ever, if you want to say it that way. But it's always been something that's important to respect the humanity that is inside the food and beverage industry. And it's great to hear these little insights from people that are actually walking the walk, talking the talk. With that, let's ask you specifically about your business. Why is it important for Radal Hospitality and Sabor Latin Street Grill to incorporate family-forward workplace practices?
First thing, Dalton and Miriam, they really run it as a community. It's really part of their culture. And I think that that's something that is really a challenge for a lot of operators. They can't really wrap their head around like, oh my God, I'm dealing with this labor crisis. I'm dealing with, rising costs in food, which has been crazy, guys. We're dealing with a lot of restrictions that have depended on for a long time in this industry to make it profitable. And when you're up against the wall like that, it's not going to be top of mind to think like, what family-friendly benefits can I provide my staff? You're really just like, dude, how am I going to get people in here to run today?
Apropos to what you were saying, I think one of my greatest takeaways from having these family-forward conversations is, yes, top of mind of a business owner or entrepreneur is how can we maximize profitability, right? And keep the doors open. But I think as we look at it with this family forward lens, we see that what is our biggest problem right now in the restaurant industry? I mean, I'm going to answer it for you because I think this is a no-brainer. It's staffing. It's finding people. So
it's human resource.
It's human resource. And if you walk that back for a second, how do we maintain employees? If you pay them well, you're aware of their needs as a person, as a family member, well, I think that's going to make them happy and make them want to come back to work and also give them a satisfaction. So,
there's a lot of layers there to unpack. There's so much more in that makes a loyal employee. Mm-hmm. I think that wage is important, but I also think that making sure that an employee is properly indoctrinated into your culture. And so one thing that we do at Sabor is, going back to like the tangible things is we spend a lot of time on our training. So we have like online training modules through a company called Expandshare, where part of those training modules like really are educating, encouraging empathy and, helping people to understand sort of the soft skills of working with other people in a restaurant environment.
Yeah, I'd love to know any particular employee that really exemplifies what we're talking about.
Sure. A woman that came back early from her maternity leave because she wanted to get back to work. And her biggest worry was the breastfeeding thing. And so that GM is totally aware of the schedule. The GM is aware of the breastfeeding schedule, that person needs to step out and, take care of their baby. And we don't ask them to go in the bathroom and pump. Like we let her go home. She lives close by. We let her leave and go take care of her responsibilities. And she comes back and there's trust there. Can I give you we have this program and that program? No, what we have is like a culture that we've built around a community of people that care for each other and that understand that family really is first, because that's part of the culture that these people that have grown this business have come from. So they represent who they are in their business every day.
As far as upcoming plans or any things that you will be instilling, are there any things that you are going to do to even help further along what you're already accomplishing?
Yeah. So, to build on what Miriam's already done with community partners, obviously, we're looking for community partners that can help us with affordable childcare right now. Mm-hmm. That's one of our biggest barriers. Yeah. That's something I wish that as a company, we were just big enough and badass enough to just say, oh yeah, we have childcare available for all of our employees. If you work for, Radal, just drop your kid off here and we got you covered. We're just not there as a company, and I wish we were. But so I'm looking for partners on affordable childcare right now. I'm looking for incorporating some positive parenting classes. So we do a soft skills training for our managers about every 8 weeks. And we cover different things like stress management and interpersonal communication style, conflict management. We sort of like cover all these different areas. And one of the areas that I want to start doing is positive parenting classes to make sure that our parents in the group are getting the support that they need, and they can ask questions and make, if they have any doubts about their parenting style or they're having challenges with one of their kids on some issue, that they have a resource and that we introduce that resource to them and then make it available to them long term.
That's pretty amazing to think that your place of employment is where you can get that is a really positive resource. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's hard. I think one of the challenges with even providing those things is to get employees to understand what our motivation is in it, I guess, and to get them to buy into it, because so few employees at this level, at this skill level, have ever had that kind of support.
What's great is the honest part is that you're just like, what's in it for us is that you're going to be here and I don't have to worry about no call, no shows,
right.
rehiring, retraining, because that's the worst part of running the business is restaffing when you thought you had a great team. So
I mean, even beyond that, for us, like we're in super growth mode right now. We're going outside this footprint really fast. And so in order to track up as a business, culturally, you have to have employees that are just not going to call out on you, but that really want to be with you for the long haul. And when I said about, Dalton Beam and, an incubator for entrepreneurs, like his goal is to make managers owners. So we already have 3 owned stores by people that started as GMs that now own their stores.
Wow.
He is very motivated to do good for people. And I think that when that's, like I said, the culture coming from the top down in a company, it's just natural that you're going to have employees that realize, yes, they are going to take care of me as long as I'm taking care of them.
And you're doing it with the help of Family Forward NC. Family Forward NC is an innovative initiative of the North Carolina Early Childhood Foundation. Family Forward NC can provide your company with resources and support to help you implement practices like paid leave, flexible work and scheduling, health benefits and flexible spending accounts, child care support, and more. For more information, please visit familyforwardnc.com. Business smart, family friendly, future ready.
You are listening to the North Carolina Food and Beverage Podcast. Thank you for downloading and subscribing. Coming to you virtually live from high atop the historic Raleigh building in beautiful downtown Raleigh. The NCF&B takes the listener behind the scenes to tell the stories of the people that contribute to the creation of the food and beverage community of North Carolina. And now, the misfits in the dish pit, the faces of the front. They are Max Trujillo and Matthew Weiss.
Hello, and thank you for listening to the North Carolina Food and Beverage Podcast. I am your co-host, Max Trujillo.
And I am your co-host, Matthew Weiss, and today we are diving back into the water with sharks. That's right, Blue Shark number 2. But today, we bring in the aforementioned Chief, Mark Bloomquist, of Blue Shark Vodka, and he brought along his personal field goal kicker of world famous NFL status, Mr. Connor Barth.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. This is great.
I got to say real quickly, we are in downtown Raleigh, so I have to say go Heels.
Yeah.
Just had to get that out there real quick. I have a lot of NC State buddies, so
Wow.
since I'm sitting here atop here in downtown Raleigh.
I mean, you're chiding the NC State fans, but now I'm going to have to chide you. Because I wonder, you were just on a ski trip with your brother. Does he bring up that he's the record holder for most field goals made at the UNC instead of you?
Every once in a while, he'll throw a little jab at me, but I'm I'm proud of that guy. I mean, coming in after me and having such a successful career. And I think he's the all-time leading scorer as well in football history, which is pretty cool. So, I mean, it's I think collectively we have like 800 points or something, 900 points.
That's pretty awesome.
So it's pretty cool. I mean, 9 straight years. My parents, when my brother graduated, played a little bit. Now I kept playing. Once I retired, my parents were just they didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Because they're so used to traveling every weekend.
Right.
to watch games.
They need grandchildren.
They were like, we got to travel. We got to go somewhere. We're around each other too much.
Yeah.
Well, let's set the stage right here because anyone that's been listening to our show before might say, "Wait a minute, Blue Shark Vodka." I remember there was a young lady on the show, Brooke, and she was talking about Blue Shark coming out of Wilmington, and so there was a lot of chatter about this Chief character in that episode. Chief was or is her father. And Brooke, the distiller, and her dad decided to go into business together and create this Blue Shark vodka with, we've got, I don't know, we have like 97 bottles of vodka on our table right now, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other fantastic things.
Six
we'll get into.
bottles. 6 bottles.
6 bottles. I like to exaggerate.
A little bit of hyperbole.
Yeah.
But all the world's smoothest. So it's
But the Chief kept coming up in the conversation over and over again, and we're like, all right, we got to get this Chief guy inside in the studio because it sounds like there's a lot of stories to be told. And then, on top of that, Chief is friends with Connor Barth, NFL kicker, UNC kicker, great storied career, but also has come on to help preach the gospel of Blue Shark Vodka out there on the coast. Makes sense. And Matt and I, who always get ridiculed by basically just Shannon Healy, that's it, we're just going to call him out, Valley 26, that we talk way too much sports all the time. So this is for you, Shannon, an all NFL football talk. Mel Kiper ain't got nothing on us.
Todd
We're
McShay,
approaching
move over.
Redraft.
Yeah.
ESPN's want to hire me after this one.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
right.
Yeah,
Bring me
everyone's
on.
putting their best foot forward. No, but we thought let's talk vodka, let's talk sports. I mean, we do have the impending NFL draft coming up, but this all just kind of works together. It's kind of like you talk a little sports, you talk a little booze. Matt and I, we actually just talking about sports, played some golf yesterday.
We did.
How'd you shoot?
Well, we shot par. We shot par at Prestonwood.
At Prestonwood, no big deal.
No big deal. One under on the back,
drives-
one over on the front.
Yeah, my drives were interesting.
Consistent.
Super consistent. Did not go very far. But no, we were invited to play with the NCRLA, which we love those folks. And they
Yes.
had a great little tournament that they put on. And they paired us up with everybody. And you're kind of doing, what is it, Captain's
Choice.
Captain's Choice.
Yeah.
So we were paired up
Scramble.
with this mountain of a man that was teamed up with us. So it was supposed to be 4, ended up only being 1 extra guy. So it was 3 of us. And this guy was crushing the ball all day long.
Yeah.
Matt and I were, Matt was doing fine. We used a couple of his shots. I putted 1 shot that made it in, and that was the one that we put on that Max did
And that was a great one.
out of 18 holes.
Everyone, that's what Captain's Choice is cool because everyone kind of comes, everyone brings something to the table. So it's a fun
Captain's
way.
Choice is the way to go, especially in a tournament
Yeah.
style. But speaking of Captain's Choice or the Chief's Choice,
Yeah.
I did want to talk about one thing before we really dive into sports. You guys said one thing, and I think this really needs to be reiterated. Connor, you, like Max said, you were preaching the gospel that this is 100% corn-based, North Carolina corn-based vodka.
Correct.
So
Correct. And like all vodkas, it's gluten-free because, quite frankly, every spirit is gluten-free, even though everybody says. But
Right.
we use non-GMO, heirloom, North Carolina sweet corn.
Yeah.
Sweet corn to make the world's smoothest vodka.
sweet corn. And not only that, but it's made and distilled in Wilmington with your very high-tech secret CIA-protected distillery, but that Max and I are going to have access to. We're going to be allowed in.
Absolutely. And I get
Yeah.
a lot of pushback from a lot of the people that have been asking to come in there. So no problem.
So we get VIP status, basically.
You get status. Look, I got my spokesperson
man.
here today, so
Yeah.
we can. Yes, we'd be excited to have you.
Okay.
And likewise, we also have. I don't know if Brooke brought this up, but we do have a distillery in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And then just recently, my wife and I were down in Tampa, and we're looking to do another distillery in 2022 down in Tampa.
So is that going to be a Blue Shark distillery or? Yes.
Absolutely. Our whole plan was to start regionally.
Yeah.
Completely. This has been worked as a plan, not let's put our finger up, let's lick it and hope that the wind blows our
Yeah.
way. And then from regionally, we plan to go nationally, which we already are.
Right.
And then the real reason that Tampa fits in is internationally, the Caribbean, besides Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes sense because you can move the corn. The corn's easy. And when you use high-tech computer to make it, you're not trying to, okay, let's just get the formula right. Let's get the yeast right, and then let's let it do its work. And you do come out with what we call, North Carolina's flagship vodka.
Nice. I like it.
We want to bring North Carolina to the farmer in Iowa. We want them to see the beauty of this state. This is truly the most beautiful state in the United States.
Which is why we work so well together, because that's what Max and I have been trying to do for these 4 years, is show off the impeccable agriculture and wonderful culinary talent of this state.
And bring back the once thriving liquor industry to the state. This was the biggest producing liquor state in the Union, and then things changed over as time went on, and I think Prohibition had a lot to do with the deconstruction of what we were doing here. But there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to put out some really amazing products, and I'm just excited that you're back in here. You're going to see some Blue Shark wherever you go. I think you said you're in every
county, every North Carolina county. Yes, sir.
That's a very difficult feat to just accomplish. That means that you guys have tenacity, because for those that don't understand, you can be approved to sell in the state, but then you have to go walk your butt in to 100 different counties and also ask for permission to be sold in every single one of those counties. And most of the the distillers are like, cool, I'll get into Mecklenburg, the Charlotte area, I'll get into Wake, and Greensboro, I'll do the big boys, and then if I can get into these other ones, we'll do our best. But 100 now.
That's because I drive the shark cage around.
I get emails at 4:30 in the morning, and guys always on the road just grinding. It's amazing. I mean, I think we already sold out out in the Outer Banks. I mean,
we did. We just got into Dare County. You're right.
It's insane.
In meeting Mark for about 20 minutes now, there is no lack for energy here.
And we just gave him coffee.
But he only told me, like, he did tell me to stop at like an ounce and a half. So I was like, okay, that's not really good.
No, he texted me. He texted me at 6:30 this morning. He's like, "Watch out! There's a lot of fog on the road." I'm like, "I'm not even awake yet." I thought this was at 10 o'clock this morning.
When do you sleep?
But hey, listen. That's why I love him. He doesn't stop, and that's why Blue Shark's where it is, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, and Chief, you've got years of experience in this industry. As we were speaking with your daughter Brooke about it, that we've all kind of worked and run in the same packs at different times and in different areas. But I've said before, I worked for Southern. Back then, it was just Southern Wine and Spirits. Now it's Southern Glazers, but. I worked there in California. Matt has been and still is in the industry of selling wine specifically now, but liquor for a long time. And so we know this game. This is a wild game. You were working with Seagram's, I believe?
International.
Yeah.
So you guys did, and I had no idea. I used to hear the guys come to the meetings and talk about North Carolina. It's the worst state here. And I'd be like,
for spirits.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. Seagram, China's pretty easy,
Yeah, well, that's what we were just talking with Tyler Hellickson of Happy and Hale, because he was a Champagne rep, but also worked for Moet Hennessy, and we kid around. When you're a rep in North Carolina, there's a less hands-on, I guess, that you can do just because of the restrictions of being in a control state, as opposed to, say, being in California, where it's the Wild West, and whatever you can do by any means necessary on the last day of the month, if you haven't hit those quota numbers, like anyone watch Boiler Room, I will tell you that is exactly the way it is in the liquor game. It's like, gents and ladies, you're all gents here today, by the way, because everything's super old school. They're like, we're all just going to move it. We need 150 more units. We need 10 more cases sold. We need more, what is it? The KPIs were cases sold, points of distribution, and revenue. Boys and that lady, get going.
Key performance indicators.
Yes.
New York was kind of the Wild Wild West, too. Wild East. So that's the same thing. But, Seagram's, we won't dwell on that, but the Bronfmans were an incredible family to work for. And I think Sam Bronfman himself instilled in me giving back. They did a lot with Meals on Wheels. Mm-hmm. And maybe during this podcast, we can tell you a little bit about how we're giving back, what we're doing with the Sharks.
Yeah.
We're not a one-trick pony. We're just trying to push vodka.
You're going to give us a shark?
Maybe.
That would be cool, and a nice little aquarium right on this wall.
He should take
with
us to
with
dive with the sharks. That'd
with
be
a shark
pretty cool.
there. Yeah. No, but that would be pretty awesome. We could
Hey,
use
Lay,
it.
I mean,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You walk the walk of the Blue Shark Vodka, man. You're not just dipping your toe in the water. I got it. He did just reveal pictures of him outside a shark cage. Just so
we hang out
everyone knows.
we hang out the docile sharks, the ones that don't bite.
Okay.
Blue sharks.
yeah.
That is the reason. Connor knows. Blue sharks, when you're in the water with them, they are like dogs when they go by you, but they're being over harvested right now.
Yeah.
And so we first came out with the tagline, "The shark that won't bite, they won't bite."
I love it. I love it.
And so when we let people sample it, they go, "Oh my gosh, there's no alcohol burn."
Yeah.
Oh, it's
that's-
quite smooth.
Yeah.
Like, that's really what you want out of your vodka. You want it to be kind of like a fuel, but as we say in the music industry, the best producer is the one you don't hear. It's like this vodka is the one you don't taste, right?
It's like the blank canvas for your artistic cocktail expression.
exactly.
There's a program that you guys are giving back for shark relief as well. So talk about that.
I'll do it very quickly because I think there's a lot more your listeners would want to hear. We did a special bottle with Weiland. Weiland is the world's premier marine artist, and everybody knows they've seen his art, whether you're in Hawaii, California, Nevada, Florida. We did a bottle. Weiland did an original painting for us. We only launched it here in North Carolina. We sold out in 3 weeks, the Weiland bottle. But our biggest, what we do is we're working with the Atlantic Shark Institute. John Dodd runs it, does an incredible. This year, he got funding from the federal government, and they're going to tag 10 female blue sharks. Blue sharks migrate in a counterclockwise, and they start in Maine in June, come down the eastern coast, and end up in South America. We're going to start in Maine on June 4th, and I'm proud to say what Blue Shark Vodka is doing. We're partnered with them. We're not giving a portion. We're partnered with them, and we're funding a lot of this, and we're just excited because it'll be the first real study of females. So we're going to tag one, and we've already got a name for her, but we'll save that for a later date.
Oh, they're holding out on us.
Ashley
Blue Shark
Morris
number
came
3.
up with it. Our communications director, who is just superb.
Yeah.
She came up with the name. So that's what we do.
Yeah.
And
That's fantastic.
That's pretty cool.
And so let's swing over here to Connor. Actually, before we get deep into Connor, I do want to mention somebody that helps keep the lights on here at our place, which is the Triangle Wine Company. Triangle Wine Company has 5 locations now. Holy cow!
Yeah.
Matt, I always
They're-
forget to mention Holly Springs in these reads, and how could I forget? Because that's where you live.
How can you?
Yeah, and the Holly Springs location also has the beautiful Bestow Baked Goods and the Butcher's Market, all previous guests and sponsors of the podcast at times. And so going to Triangle Wine Company or going to trianglewineco.com will help you get all of your beverage needs. You can even get some cocktail mixers to throw in to the said Blue Shark Vodka, but you can find fantastic wine, beer, whatever you'd like. With the 5 locations, you're down there in Pinehurst. You got the aforementioned Holly Springs. You have Waverly Place in Cary. You have Morrisville, and now North Raleigh, just a few clicks north of where I live. So make sure you go to Triangle Wine Co. How did the event go, Matt? Last week.
Oh, it was fantastic.
You were pouring wine.
we
I
were
was going to watch you
pouring
hustle,
wine.
and then I decided to just sit on my butt.
Well, you could have learned a lot about the Catena Winery and of Mendoza, and people were really enjoying those wines and coming out and sitting on their patios. It's always a great time, and I feel like with Triangle Wine Company, not that we are the catalyst for everything, but it feels really good. No, we are. No,
Yeah, we are.
that they went. In our time with them, they've opened up 2 new shops. They've gone from 3 to 5, so they're all grown step and they're all grown step.
Yeah. Don't forget to use the NCFB promo code when you are purchasing items on their website, and you will receive a fantastic discount. So again, go to trianglewineco.com. And now back to the show.
Yeah. So
Connor, I want to know, you went to UNC Wilmington,
UNC Chapel Hill.
UNC Chapel Hill, I'm sorry. But you were in Wilmington. My whole point is you were on the coast. It's very easy to not want to do anything except for maybe just surf, chill, maybe drink some vodka, do whatever.
eat tacos.
Yeah, you don't just become a pro NFL kicker without some crazy work ethic. You and your brother, of course. So what was going on in that household? What did your mom and dad do to you?
I have no idea. We grew up. My parents were big about doing multi-sport stuff. Obviously, Casey and I were very good at soccer. And my whole thing was I knew I wasn't quite good enough to play overseas, and that's really where you get paid the big bucks.
Sure.
So I was like, my freshman year, I didn't start kicking until my freshman year of high school at Hoggard. And I remember the football coach came over, and he's like, we just, all we ever had was a wide receiver kicking, and, can someone from the soccer team come over? We don't have anybody. And I was like,
Ochocinco's like, I'm already busy.
I was like, I'll give it a shot. Yeah. So, cause my dad's a big, he's a Notre Dame guy. So he's a huge football fan. So I grew up watching Notre Dame, and, obviously now, only Tar Heels, but I just went over one day during practice, and they were like, let me see you kick. And I just started just booting the ball. And when I teach kids now, it's like you kind of either have it or you don't. You kind of have that swing. So obviously they saw the pop off the ball immediately.
Isn't it weird though, going from a round ball to an oblong shape?
It was different. The big thing is it's the leg swing. The leg swing is way different. So when you kick a soccer ball, you want to try to kind of keep your knee over the ball, not to get too technical, but you're trying to keep it down below, obviously, the crossbar, where a football, you want to lock out your leg and try to get the height.
Yeah.
So you're saying like when Nancy Ireland was it
unnecessary reference?
When Kathy Ireland went from soccer to football because of the strike, that it wasn't. You're saying it wouldn't have been that easy of a transition?
You'll see. I could take a lot of soccer kids right now. They'll hit a lot of line drive knucklers just because it's a way different. It's a way different swing, and it was crazy because I had a lot of soccer guys that came over and tried to kick with me, but I was like the only one that stuck with it. Yeah. And there was other guys that were better than me, but I just stuck with it. I ended up stopped playing soccer at Hoggard and just stuck with football because I knew after I went to some camps, I was like, I got to just focus on this one craft to really, really get really, really good at it and really perfect it because it's just such a different swing.
That's the thing I really want to kind of drill into is that you can be good at a few things. You can be great at a few things. Matt and I playing golf. Yeah. Like, I'm really bad. And I can't, like, I'm so bad that there's no chance I don't even want to play golf ever again for the rest of my life. There's no reason. Even after the 5 hours we were playing, I had a meeting, then I went home and I just crashed out on the bed or on the couch. And I text Matt hours later. I'm like, dude, I am out. He's like, oh yeah, golf can like kind of wear you out, even though you're not think you're doing anything. You're just out in the sun. But you got that taste. Like you kicked really well. You probably hit a few, just like Matt pinged a couple of drives, and you're like, that's what keeps you coming back. But like the dedication to not just be like good at it, but then say, oh no, I have to be the best at it, because clearly if you're going to make it to the show, you have to be better than everybody, and like the skill level and really the determination is quite beyond compare. That no one else I've ever met really has like gone, oh yeah, I'm going to focus and dither down to just know this one thing and know it better than anybody. Like what was your like daily life like during this time? How did you get to that level?
Well, my dad was a professor for 20 years. My mom's been in business development and pharmaceuticals. So, I mean, it was really football and my studies. That's it. And my studies, obviously, it sounds cliche, but it really did come first because obviously that's really important. But I missed a lot of fun times hanging out with friends. It was literally camps all the time, and I was getting lucky. I was working my butt off, and I was winning all these camps, and I was seeing how I was competing against everyone in the country, and I was beating everybody. Yeah. And then, I get coaches saying, hey, you could go to college for free. And I'm just like, whoa, that's
like success begets success, right? Like, because of that, you're like, yeah, more fuel for the fire.
Yeah, it's just, my dad said if I got a scholarship, he'd buy me a car. I was like, sweet, this is awesome. So let's keep working here. I want to get a free car. So, obviously that was kind of the motivation too. He's like, hey, if you get a full scholarship, I'll buy you a car. And I didn't take full advantage of that. I should have bought something cool.
I wonder if that'll work on my 5-year-old, my soon-to-be 5-year-old. Yeah. Hey, I'm going to get you a car if you get a scholarship.
My dad tells me that my freshman year of high school, he's like, there's no way this guy's going to make it to college on a full ride. And then he's kicking his butt because he had to buy 2 cars because my brother got one too.
Oh, yeah. Same deal. No, I do want to ask you, but even beyond the skill level, because, honestly, for those who are football fans, kickers get chided a lot. We kid, but I would argue that you guys are really the most mentally tough players out there, because it's completely feast or famine. You're only noticed if you make it, and if you miss, you're nobody's friend. Nobody wants to talk to you. But if you make it, everybody, the quarterback's jumping on you.
Yeah, like Favre can have a
all-star defensive lineman.
Then he gets the feel. Then he's like, okay, I'm back in the swing of it. I can do this. I can come back. For you, it's like feast or famine. You either do it or you don't.
I can go on and on about that. Like, if, what's a good quarterback percentage? Like 65%. If I'm 65%, I'm gone.
You're never
Yeah.
in the
I mean, I'm not even kicking the league.
No.
So it's like, it's just I always.
And you're cold. Like, you're on, literally, physically, your body is cold if you're
You
playing
got the
in
kicking
Chicago.
net. If Odell Beckham's not your
I was
teammate,
playing in Chicago at minus 18. You're just like, I don't even want to warm up. I don't even know what to do. No, it's a crazy. I always tell people my heart's probably about 55 years old, but my body feels like I'm 35 just because of all the stress and just the.
So what do you do? Like, what does go through the mind? I actually think it's somewhat like a professional golfer.
It's very close.
Like you've probably kicked literally a million field goals, practice and extra points and all this, but like. There's nothing that can recreate that pressure when it's in an actual game, and then when it actually is like game on the line. So what do you do? Do you just focus on technique? Do you block it out? Do you have like a breathing mechanism? What are your tangibles?
You honestly just go out there, and when you're in the zone, you just don't think about anything.
Yeah.
You just go out there and you're
have
really
to just trust in your system, right?
I mean, how many? Like you said, I've kicked this 45-yarder 100 times thousands of times in practice. It's just you just kind of, when I was really in the zone for my. In 8 of my 10 years, I'd go out there and it was just like clockwork. I just went out there, everything slowed down, and it's just, you hear guys, there's, everyone's like, what do they say to you across the line? I'm like, I don't hear anything.
And what about when a coach tries to ice you with the timeout?
I think for me, I like it. You get a chance to kind of take a step back. You can swing your leg a little bit and really just kind of focus in again. For me, it really doesn't matter. I actually wish you just, if I'm a coach, I'm just letting the guy kick.
What we're saying for those that don't know what that means is like a really crucial kick is about to come in. It's game-winning potential, and right before the kick, seconds before, the other team's coach will hit timeout just to put it in the kicker's head a little bit longer. And they're like, "Oh, we got him." But you always find like the only time I ever see it work worse is when the kicker still kicks the ball when it doesn't count. Like, they call the timeout, but he still goes through the motion and makes it. Mm-hmm. He always misses it the next time.
Your coach always tells you to swing through and kick it. I never do. I don't want to do it. Yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to take the one shot. And like I said, that's the only, for me, I like it. I think it gives me a chance to kind of step back. But man, it's crazy business. I'll tell you what. You got to be mentally strong and mentally tough, and it'll wear on you. So it's, but like I said, when I was in the zone for those 8-9 years of my 10 years, it was like clockwork. I go out there and I don't think about a thing. I just go out there and swing my leg, and for the most part, I made more than I missed in my career, so it was good.
82.8%.
Not too bad. I will take that over a 10-year span. I'll take that.
You came into you've played for two of my least favorite teams of all time. You came into the league with the Kansas City Chiefs. You did play for the Dolphins. I have nothing to say about them.
That was a very quick stint there.
You played for the reigning champions, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, on two different stints. I don't like them currently because of their who they have as their quarterback, and then you also played for the Broncos. Oh.
He's a Raiders fan.
I'm a Raiders fan.
That was a fun place to play.
Yeah,
God,
they could give it to you, right?
I was a little nervous. Yeah, I was a little nervous. If they called it the black hole. Yeah, it was. I walked over there, and it was some of the guys are all dressed up and stuff. I was like,
one of them.
I better not miss one of these. You know what? I'm so mad at the Oakland Raiders because I had 38 straight field goals under 40 yards, and y'all blocked one against me. And I'm like, and it wasn't obviously what I knew it wasn't my fault. I got up the middle, but I'm just like. That's never my fault. No, you know what?
No, but that is the other frustrating
thing. In every interview, I've always said, no matter what happens,
it's my fault.
No matter what happens, I always say it was my fault, even though I'm like, God, that guy was in my face. But I'll say it was my fault.
Well, it was really the Raiders did such an athletic, supreme move.
Come on,
block
man.
the ball. Of course, it wasn't your fault. 38.
God, 38. I can remember that to this day.
Yeah,
38 straight. And this guy, I don't know who, Richard Seymour or somebody, I think, came up the middle, and I'm just like, you got.
I saw you. I think I saw you kick. I want to say, were you on the Broncos when Tebow was there?
I was not. I was there with Peyton.
Oh, with Peyton.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I did see. Then I did see you kick in Mile High.
Yeah.
I saw Peyton play, and you guys swamped us 30-3.
I think I had like 4 field goals. Like I had a good game.
Maybe 5. Maybe you had 5.
I might have 5.
You did kick a lot of field goals.
I will say,
many points were put up.
Me and Peyton are great buddies because I only missed 1 field goal for him, so that's always I'm in his good graces. So that's fantastic.
Well, I love that you bring up Peyton Manning because I just want to go back to how hard it is to be a kicker because you think about it, you had a 10-year career.
Yeah.
But you think about like once you make it to the NFL, talent level is probably very similar. Like the guy who replaced you on Tampa Bay, Roberto Aguirre, who they drafted, right?
First round.
I see the Hanks. Yeah.
First round.
Like,
Wasted.
Second
first
round, but don't even get me started on kickers in the draft.
Seabass was first
What?
round. Sebastian Janikowski, first round kicker.
He lived up to
led
it.
the way
Yeah.
for you
Oh,
guys.
yeah.
Come
Yeah.
on.
But oh my Lord.
And here's where I'm going to try to bring this home as like a celebrity chef, almost the equivalent. I think a lot of it, right, is the time and place, your
Correct.
situation, right? Because there's only a few unicorns like Adam Vinatieri, right? Who has 20 plus years of kicking, but he was in the right place where he got the fame and
with the Patriots.
Yeah, with
by
the
way,
Patriots
at the beginning.
We know, Chief.
Yeah, we're not fans of the Patriots here. And Matt's a Giants fan, so he's taking them
I'm
out
okay
twice,
with the
which is great.
Patriots. And a Lawrence Tynes. Like,
Yeah.
nobody would ever remember that guy or heard of the guy, except he was at the right place at the right time to make 2 Super Bowl kicks to put them in the Super Bowl. So, I mean, is that true? Like, a guy like, I'll bring up another one that probably gives you some angst, but like Brandon McManus. You beat that guy out one season, and then what? You got injured the next year, and he gets to go on the Super Bowl team.
No, Brandon's a good buddy of mine. It's so funny. I got a quick story, but like it's hilarious. So Ryan Suckup, he won the Super Bowl with Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
He's from Hickory.
Oh, yeah.
So good buddy of mine, right? He was a junior in high school. I was a senior in high school. We went to the same kicking camp at Carolina. They were going to either scholarship me or wait a year and scholarship him, and I kicked better that day, so they scholarshiped me. He was pissed because he wanted to go to North Carolina. He ended up going to South Carolina. He got drafted as Mr. Irrelevant in 09 and took my spot in Kansas City.
Right.
So he got me back.
He got you back.
And then he's had a tremendous career, such a great guy. And then
his brother too, right?
Yeah, his brother's a punter.
His brother's a
no,
punter?
that's the Colquitts.
Oh, that's the cool.
So it's just funny. So Suckup now, good buddy of mine, ended up going over to Tampa and getting a Super Bowl ring, which is so cool. I mean, it's just it's just a funny thing. But you're talking about just the craziness. Just it's so funny when it is really about your situation and just perfect timing. I mean, kicking in Denver in 2014, you got a quarterback like Peyton and an offense like that. I was kicking, I think I averaged like 4 or 5 field goals a game, and a lot of them were 35-yarders, 40-yarders. Like, I think my long was 50. So it is timing and being in a great place at the right time. And I think Ryan Suckup benefited a lot this year. He got a great offense. I think he was like 37 for 40 or something. Great year.
Well, right. And so like the
but
thing
the fact that he
with,
got 40 opportunities.
So, but it's just, I think his long was 50, and he was very consistent and just. Brady was getting you down there, in really good field. You're not kicking 55-yarders, 60-yarders where...
That's the point I was going to make is that a guy like players that played for Manning and now Brady, these guys had no problem. They just want to win, and they know putting points on the board is how you win. So they weren't just trying to gunsling and trying to push it and make it happen. Sometimes you got to do that, but they put their team in a really good opportunity. So it's like, all right, hey, we got Connor on the team. You're going to kick 4 or 5 times in a game, which is kind of high. And that's why, Edgerrin James was a great running back for Peyton Manning or while he played with him. And then, it's like he still was fine, but it's like Peyton made all of his running backs better, and it's just because also Peyton looked at the line and is like, oh, they're going to blitz. This is not a good time to run up the middle. We'll audible this is perfect. I see cover 2 back there. We're going to run. So like he knew what was going on. And so he made you a better player. The only problem that I want to get to is as a kicker, and because you did play for a decent amount of teams, like if you had a bad moment, sometimes that was the end of your tenure at said team. And so what was the feeling like as far as being a teammate, especially after now this is like, say, your 5th team in a short amount of time? I have to feel like it's a solitary job and that you're a mercenary sometimes. Like, did you get the camaraderie of the team as a kicker the way like a wide receiver would get?
No, I think, you want to be as much of the part of the team as possible, but at the end of the day, you're, kicker, punter, long snapper's a little bit more involved, but kicker, punter, you're kind of doing your own thing. I mean, they could care less if you don't just make your field goals. Honestly, that's just how they say don't speak unless spoken to. Pretty much, yeah. That's pretty much how. I mean, literally, I could remember this. We were clinching we were clinching the AFC West with Denver. We were playing San Diego out there, and I'm going out to kick. We got stopped on 3rd down, and Peyton's coming off the field. It's a 47-yarder. He looks at me. He's like, "We need this." I go, "God bless America."
Thanks for letting me know.
I've never been so nervous in my. I'm just like when Peyton Manning's like, "We need this." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I got this. Don't worry."
Yeah,
I'm just like, "Holy moly!" I went out there and obviously made it, but it's just, it's just. I've had some guys just. I've had you don't want when you got an O line that's blocking for you. You miss one, a 350-pound guy turns around and just stares at you. You're just like, I'm never gonna miss again.
Yeah,
because it's just so it can be a very lonely position, but it's also an amazing position as well. Where
when you win the game.
Yeah, I mean, they either love you. So it's in practice. Every single player hates you because you're on the sideline taking a knee, or you're in the hot tub, or working out, or eating early, or so. I don't want to say that, but going to play golf sometimes.
You and Mark Sanchez are having hot dogs on the sideline.
Sometimes in training camp, you might sneak out a little early, go play nine holes real quick. It's just you don't tell anybody. But it's some of the coaches were cool. We're like, get your stuff done, get out of here. Because the last thing the players that are on the field want to see you is over there just taking a knee. So you're better off just not being seen. So he's just like, make sure you're out here for the final breakdown of practice. I'm like, yeah, we're back. I just hit one 340 yards, and it was great.
So you're saying it makes sense why the team treated you the way they did.
No, it's just everyone wants to be you in practice, but no one wants to be you with 1 second left, and you're down by two. Anybody can kick a field goal. I'm gonna say anybody, but when you're tied, right, it's the ones where you're down by a point or two, because those, you miss it, it's over.
Yeah.
At least you're going into overtime.
If Ace Ventura taught us anything, it led you down a dark
path. Lace us out.
Well, no, and when you talk about Peyton Manning, and talk about kicking, I cannot erase that from my mind when Mike Vanderjagt missed the kick to get them ahead in the playoffs, and you could just see Peyton on the side like, oh, he missed it. And of course, the next year they got rid of Mike Vanderjagt, who had an historic season. And then they brought in Vinatieri after that.
Probably why I have been drinking so much vodka.
But wait, that is more importantly,
why I love vodka so much.
We're going to get back to the vodka.
My 10 years in the NFL. I'm just kidding.
How many tackles did you have career-wise?
Oh, I avoid contact at all times.
So you were like, my brother, you're looking at the Jay Feely guys, and you're like, that little
Matt
bastard.
Weiss and Connor Barth, same amount of tackles in the NFL.
0. My brother loves contact. My brother got Patrick Peterson a couple times when he played for LSU. That's pretty impressive.
Wow.
My brother loved contact. I was the Olay guy who was like, yeah. There was 10 other guys that were supposed to do that. But I also got fired because of that too, just because I hit one about 4 yards deep in the end zone and they returned it, and I didn't get into the triangle, or whatever the coach called it. I was like, get in the triangle. I'm like, that's not my job. It's not what you pay me.
Did you ever get a chance to throw a pass or run for a first down?
I did in college. We had a really cool fake field goal against South Florida where the snapper snaps it, the holder flips it over his head, and I caught it and ran it for 25 yards. But sweet. Our snapper blocked a guy in the back and came back, and I ended up missing a field goal in the same drive. It would have been
tired. You just ran 25 yards.
I would have been. I mean, I ran out of bounds because the linebacker was coming in hot, and I was like, "This guy will just absolutely." But no, I mean, it ended up being. It would have been like a 25. It would have been I would have led the game in rushing, team in rushing at 25 yards of carry, and then it got called back as my snapper blocks the guy from behind and hits him in the knees, and I'm just like, "Come on, man!" And then missing a field goal on that drive was bad. It actually worked out really well.
By the way,
still made the NFL, right?
Little Wolfpack love. You hear that the one-time Wolfpack NC State Russell Wilson is going to give the commencement speech to our year's graduates. This
I saw some posting about him in a NC State uniform, but I didn't.
Super.
Yeah,
he played for a couple of years. He played one season, I think, with NC State. Maybe two.
No, I think he played. Didn't he play 3?
Oh, maybe 3, and then he finished at Wisconsin,
so
he could actually.
So that's cool that he's coming back, and I didn't know how everything went. I didn't know how everyone felt. If it was good blood. I didn't know. You know how that goes. It's
everyone loves Russell Wilson.
Yeah, no, he's
Russ.
I kind of want to see him go somewhere else.
Yeah,
than Seattle, man.
You do a team that it could actually win.
No, it's just I love it. I love the controversy. It's just great.
But. So you are drinking a lot of vodka.
Yeah, just because of
the stressors. No, but no. You. So this is kind of odd. So is it? How did this relationship kind of come together with you and Blue Shark? Like, where did this stem from?
So Wilmington's, it's a small town, and you hear things. I heard about this. I heard about Blue Shark Vodka. I was like, what is this all about? And we have a lot of mutual friends, Chief and I, and so honestly, I was at King Neptune's one time. I live at the beach, so obviously I can I can walk, stroll right down on my bike or anything like that. So I was down at Neptune's one night with my buddy, and Christopher's the bartender who's been there for a long time, and he was like, I usually did a Kettle One and soda, Kettle One and water, or Tito's or whatever, and then he was like, man, try this Blue Shark. It's really good, because I think Neptune's was one of the first places to carry it.
They
were the first to carry Blue Shark, and which is awesome. And so, I was like, all right, just put it on some ice. I just want to taste it, because I want to really. My buddy and I looked at each other, and we're just like, and it's the coolest thing ever, that when you do. When you see people that try for the first time, or you get friends that try for the first time, it's literally the same thing I had. I looked at my buddy. I was like, "Nah, this can't be. This can't be right. This can't be that good." And I'm not even, not even downplaying it. I literally looked at each other. We're like, "Wow, this is
the
like
vodka I've been waiting for."
This is like, I will not drink. I'm done with Kettle One Tito's. It's just, and it's obviously it's local, which is.
Yeah, isn't it nice when you don't have to put the disclaimer? This is good for North Carolina.
No, that's and I think that it's just what's so cool, and that's what Chief and I. It's so cool that North Carolina can produce a outstanding, the world's smoothest vodka. It's literally, I will put it up against anything, and I will take it to my grave. Like I just tried it that night, and I was like, man, I was just blown away. It was just something I was just like, I've never been able to drink vodka just on some ice just to taste it, and then I'm like, okay, I can't. I need to put some soda in here now, because this could be a tough night walking back to my beach house. But
what's your drink of choice? What do you? I feel like you're a little amateur mixologist over here. Is that right?
I'm honestly just. I don't like to mess with the vodka a lot, because it's just so smooth, and it's so good that I usually just do a martini straight up with a twist of lime or lemon. Yeah. I love it. A dirty martini is always fantastic. I got my buddy and his wife turned on a Blue Shark, and they make the best grapefruit martini I've ever had. And so I've been having those. I'm a martini guy.
What's in the grapefruit martini? Is that just like squeezed grapefruit or grapefruit?
She won't give away her. She made them. She had one. She had one ready. She had one ready to go right when I walked in the door when we had dinner the other night at their place. And but it's just,
you never want to sneak into like the back bar and watch what they're doing.
It's just it's just so. I usually, if I'm out on the boat or hanging out at the bars and stuff, usually it's a vodka soda or Blue Shark and soda, and that's the big thing for me, getting my buddies and stuff. The whole Tito's and soda is such an ingrained, it's almost like so it's like we got to get people doing Blue Shark and soda, which
is funny, because like old man Trujillo over here, as a bartender that started in 1998, Tito's didn't exist, and so I was there. I watched that happen in front of us, and I didn't realize that was like okay, it was starting to happen, and then more and more, and then it just became the standard. I'm like, well, wait a minute. It used to be, everything was like Absolute and soda. It was like Absolute or Sky, if you will. All these things. Everything's trendy, and everything just kind of works. So really, it just comes down to the marketing. We were talking about that before. It's like the marketing of these things, Tito's and soda, Tito's, and like it just made sense. And it's kind of nice that it was a American-made product too, and you bring it back, you feel very like patriotic or so. But that all that then still remains the same here, because you're making it here on the coast. But even more so, you're sourcing all of your ingredients from the state, which has been known for being one of the greatest agricultural states in the union as well. So you're making good use of the stuff that we're growing, which is a fantastic way to do it. So what's the marketing angle on this? Why would a bunch of cool kids go to the bar and say, "Give me a what would they ask?
Blue Shark and soda."
Part of it too was COVID has put a really hurt on us, almost like a WWE hurt. We are
that hurts.
But what I'm saying is, thank goodness to the restaurateurs, the sommeliers like you guys, the mixologists, because to survive what they've survived. And so we didn't put a lot of our effort into on-premise. Our effort has been getting it into the counties. Mm-hmm. Now we have ambassadors, and we're doing that. Mm-hmm. Even in Raleigh, he and I are going to go have lunch at a nice place in Cameron Village that has Blue Shark. So our goal has been, you asked about marketing, it is the world's smoothest, and we just need people to taste it.
That was the key word.
If you taste it, you'll drink it.
Yeah. And what I was trying to say when I first tried it, and that's what I'm glad you said, I wanted to say that, the key is just getting it in front of people, and the faces and I wish I could videotape some people, just when people, oh, this is, it's like you said, it's a North Carolina based, it's a North Carolina vodka. Like, there's no way. Like, this is, we're winning tons of awards, and it's just, the key is just getting in front of people to taste it. And once they taste it, usually you got them, they'll go and buy a bottle. And
you guys know, everybody, the awards are the awards, right? I mean, a gold medal here, a double gold. We're most proud of the SIP award because the SIPs they had 210 consumers who are the judges.
Yeah.
Not this judge or that judge. And there's nothing wrong with all of them because look at Dale DeGroff. I mean, a lot of people go, who's Dale DeGroff?
Yeah, this is cool. You brought in the new Craft of the Cocktail by Dale DeGroff, and you brought this in. This is a revised edition. I have the original one, so this is kind of cool. You brought this in. Why? Because
there's 13 recipes he used with Blue Shark vodka, and he used them with Tito's, Absolute, Smirnoff. We're thrilled by that. Dale just came out with that.
Dale DeGroff, for those that don't know, is he's kind of the Peyton Manning of cocktail making, if you will.
That's an enormous endorsement.
Yeah, he knows what's up, as the kids say, and it's a really cool honor to be able to have somebody endorse your product like that, which is great. Because in the end, it's like, what separates a vodka from another vodka? If you're all making great vodkas, I mean, let's call it out as it is. Like, as long as we're talking about premium vodkas, then it's like, why are we choosing one over the other? And a lot of it is brand loyalty, and also then how that brand positions themselves in the community. Right, and
Amen.
like who they are.
Amen.
And so by doing things like what you're doing, like doing these support systems for sharks in the water. I mean, you're conveying the message even deeper and connecting it to something that's helpful for all of us to know. I mean, like my kids and I, all we do is like watch animal videos and documentaries on saving the bees and saving the sharks and all that stuff. And so it's great to know that if you're going to be a business, you're going to do something, if you're going to give back, these are great ideas and great places to support. So when you are having your vodka and soda, you can kind of feel good. Like, yeah, sure, I'm saving the world.
And that's what your podcast does. Your podcast is bringing North Carolina the message about our great foods, our great beverages. Your podcast here. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And good thing for you guys, it's kind of a double-edged sword, but that vodka consumers, vodka drinkers, have more loyalty than NFL GMs when it comes to kickers.
There is zero loyalty in that. I can tell you that right now.
As we used to call it, you get sips to lips. Then you start winning, and you have a fan. A true fanatic.
Like I said, it's just about, honestly, when I first started buying wine, I bought wine based on what if the bottle was cool, right?
Right.
That's how I bought wine.
Yeah.
And honestly, I've had buddies that are like, I just think, I think your bottle's way cooler than a lot of other vodkas. And obviously that's another win for us, even, and knowing our vodka is very good and it's the world's smoothest. So having an awesome, really cool bottle with an awesome underwater scene, and we got the blown shark. It's an awesome way. I think that puts us in a different spot than other vodkas as well, because we have I think from a marketing standpoint, we have a really cool product and it tastes fantastic. So I think, like I said, that's how I bought my wine when I first started. I was like, oh, that label looks cool.
Yeah.
And I think, some people
cut to this morning, you're talking about drinking Montrachet. So
that's we won't. That's
no. I mean, let's talk about that another time. Maybe.
By the way,
maybe we'll join you for lunch. I
love some Premier Cruise. Oh yeah, it's bad. It's bad. That can get really bad.
By the way, this will give you an example of like how I was a great salesperson on the floor.
Salesperson of the year.
But I also was a total asshole in like behind the scenes, like in the meetings. Like I was such a cynic about everything. I do remember one general sales meeting. We had a wine label. We had the national sales rep for this particular wine label that had a dog on the label. And there's a whole thing with dogs on labels. If you put a dog, animals in general, but dog specific, was like, you will increase your net sales by this percentage because there's a dog on it. And he's telling us all this. He's like, the wine's great, this and this and that, but let's not bury the lead. We got a dog on the label, folks. And he's like saying, like going over and over about these dogs. And this is like a general sales meeting with maybe 200 people in the room. And I raise my hand and I go, so should I lead with that at the restaurants? This wine has a dog on the label? And he just looked at me. I go, what does this have anything to do with the wine? And like my boss just looked at me like,
Shut your mouth. But I'm like, no, seriously, why? You're telling us all this, but we don't need to know that as salespeople because that's not giving us any fuel to sell this wine. We're not going to be like, well, look, it's got a dog on it. You should buy it. It's like, no, how about you tell us what makes sense with this wine? And like the dog will literally speak for itself.
Yeah. But in this, from what they're saying, it actually does because
does.
when you make the label look nice, that's better for the stores because they're going to go through more product.
Well, there you go. If you put a dog inside,
a blue shark dog, blue dog.
Okay, we have a shark inside.
We have a shark.
We have a
dog.
shark.
Yeah.
We have
The shark is back.
we have the most docile, the prettiest shark in our bottle. I mean, I'm just looking at it right now, and it's just the underwater scene is it's fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
It's cool.
And so what is next? I mean, so you say now that you have distilleries in other places in Las Vegas.
Oh, wait. This is he's got something to tell you about.
yeah. So what are you holding over there, Connor?
I'm holding this fine premium cigar here. It's crazy, but we kind of met JC Newman Bobby Newman down in Tampa. Chief did. Chief's got all these. He knows everybody.
Yeah, Seagram's International
he knows
opens
everybody.
a lot of doors.
Yeah.
So Bobby Newman is obviously Tampa, Ybor City, world famous cigars. Bobby's a huge fan of Blue Shark, and he was like, we should do a Blue Shark. We should do a Blue Shark cigar. And that's kind of been so we're like, oh, that's not a bad idea. And Chief came to me, and that's kind of been my project. And I'm holding here a cigar here. We did so it's kind of my job here to design it. So it's a Nicaraguan cigar, hand rolled. We did a torpedo style to kind of emulate the shark's nose.
Nice.
And I'll tell you what, and I'm not a huge cigar guy, but I like something very just smooth and easy. And I want to make sure, with JC Newman, that's, those are fantastic cigars, and it's got to go along with our vodka being the world's smoothest. So I had my first one the other day, and it was out of this world. I mean, it was the ash. It held for almost half the cigar.
We brought you guys.
Yeah, we brought
samples.
you guys some. Yeah, we brought you guys some.
Samples are
Some samples, but
Samples are important.
I will say it is. I mean, they knocked it out of the park, and so this is kind of another project we're doing, and it's gonna be fantastic. And we got getting our box developed right now.
Okay,
that's gonna be really cool.
It'll be 5 cigars to the box.
So,
and
nice.
he and I argued about. He says, Chief, not blue. I said, I want the box blue. He goes, no.
So look, so we're gonna do a nice white box with our Blue Shark logo on the front, on the top. I think
gorgeous.
It'll look it's gonna be glossy. It's gonna look really nice sitting next to our bottles that have the blue.
Yeah.
It's gonna be and the thing with me is that, as a cigar, I'm not, it's just a really light, just fantastic cigar, and I want it to kind of be. I mean,
You're sitting on your screened-in porch in Wilmington with you got your dirty martini, and you're like, I think I could use a little cigar. Actually, it's kind of calmed me down after that field goal I was thinking about 8 years ago.
I still have nightmares.
Well, you're gonna have to go see our friends at the Vintage in Charlotte, who were on here. New cigar bar open there.
Really?
And, cigar and cocktail lounge. So
Ben was on earlier this year to talk about it. They just opened, and it's like a badass cigar lounge and bar. In Charlotte, so if you haven't been yet, you got to.
So wait till you see our. Obviously our artwork's amazing on the bottles, but the band around the cigar is our artist from Germany she designed that as well. It's gonna be, people are gonna want to keep those as like a keepsake. It's gonna be a really cool just feature, and it's just awesome. So it's gonna be a really cool pairing to go with the bottles of vodka as well. I just think it's gonna be a fantastic little duo.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But I'd be remiss if I didn't say, because you asked where else are we? We're in Las Vegas.
Yes.
We're at
Las
all
Vegas.
the Lee's liquor stores.
Okay.
We're at the Bellagio, Mandalay Bay. So
Allegiant Coliseum, where the Raiders play.
That's his job. That's your
Get it in there, boys.
I'm working on it. It's I'm working on that. That's definitely.
Let me help you with that. How about we go together?
Yeah. Yeah,
that's right. That's
right.
Me and Charles Woodson are good
well,
friends.
aren't they playing the Giants this year?
Yeah, we might all have to get some
let's
tickets.
go after the game.
There we
we'll
go.
go out to the
Come
game
on.
and
there we go. And Chief loves to whip out the credit card. So
yes, he does. He's got it.
Tickets,
he's got
cheap
connections
right now.
Matt, you
He's
already
got
spent
connections.
$18,000 on Chiefs money.
He's got connections.
That's just getting there too.
We're gonna get national distribution though.
And we do a lot with the military. I went to the Naval Academy, and we also have now. We just got our Section 28 license to sell in California.
Oh,
So
wow.
we
Congratulations.
we did, but North Carolina is our home.
Yeah.
We will never, ever do anything to disrupt North Carolina. In class, we're going to really work extra hard in North Carolina.
Yeah. But I'm just
That's
saying,
like
as a
our
sense
show.
of
It's
pride for us, we would love it to see this, to be boastful about this North Carolina product to be distributed nationally and
Well,
successfully.
yeah, because I mean, like Texans all had this big deal, like, oh,
Yeah.
we got
Yeah,
Tito's,
we got Tito's.
Tito's.
Right,
It's like,
right.
yeah, well, slow down, calm down, boys.
Yeah, well, guess what? Blue Shark's coming for you.
yeah.
yeah,
Don't get bit. It's like the
I love
Wait,
it.
we're the shark that doesn't bite. We're not.
but we can buy. We're not sharks. We'll
No,
buy.
but I think that's why I think
we're dogs.
You know,
And
we're-
labels. We'll bite.
we talked about we talked about possibly opening a place down in Tampa. It's just we think Florida I think is another great. It's just a
Yeah.
great market for us. I think it just fits. Like obviously, I played for Tampa Bay. I think the Buccaneers, Blue Shark Vodka.
JC
Newman's
in the water.
I don't know, man. I feel like there's a great. That's great. I mean, there's something there with that.
But seriously, so like business wise, I know we were talking about it a little bit offline, but so the next step is national distribution or a national wholesale partner, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we do a lot with national foundations too. I happen to bring, and I think about Toby Keith and what he does. He's been a great friend. All his people, he's got Kirby, Dave, Micah. They're just incredible people at Toby. So we're working with his foundation. They do an annual. We work with a lot of people. Our biggest thing, we did the Weiland Foundation. We were there for that, even during COVID. So national, yes. International's a way off. So we're going to take our time. We're going
I'm
to walk
sure.
before we run.
Yeah.
Well, I love it. We won't even bring it up because it was all off the mic and all that. But you have a lot of other things that you're going to do. So that I could see episodes further in the future where you come back on to tell us all these amazing things you're going to do. So that's just a little like little Easter egg for our listeners to know that like there's other things that you guys are planting, which is pretty amazing. And I love the entrepreneurial side of it. I love the confidence because you need that in this industry, and I love the relatability to the community, to the locality of the whole place. You're doing it right, and you're also just putting your daughter to work. She's got a lot of vodka to make. I love that too.
And my
Hey,
wife,
we are- hey,
my
yeah.
son, Brett,
Yeah.
he does
Yeah.
logistics.
Get to
My
work.
wife's our
Make
customer
some more
service
vodka.
vice president. So
Yeah, we
and
got
I
a lot of bottles to
this
fill.
guy here, and he
I just try to get
he's
everyone.
incredible.
I just try to get everyone I know to try it, and I'm just like, just trust me, just try it, and I swear I'll change you. And I almost want to like put a bet out there, and I don't know if I'm allowed to do that, but I just want to. I'll bet it
I guess
against.
do it until somebody stops
Do
you.
it in Vegas where it's legal.
But I feel like no, but I feel like if I was like, if you don't like it, I'll buy you a bottle. I'll be like, I didn't like it, just to say I'll buy him a bottle.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I just can't. That's not
exactly.
fair. You know what I mean? No, I
Yeah,
just
you love like those ones where they're like, satisfaction guaranteed or double your money back. It's like, that is the stupidest thing you could ever tell somebody.
no, but
Or
it's- yeah.
buy a bottle and your child gets a free kicking lesson from
wow.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's gonna open. Come on. Well, hey, listen, I do a free camp every summer. So this is kind of cool. I do my brother and I. It's called the Barth Brothers Kicking Camp. We put it on. We missed it last year because of COVID, unfortunately. But this will be the 6th year in a row. We always do it one day. It's usually a little bit after the 4th of July. Over at my high school, at Hoggard High School, we'll do a one-day kind of afternoon, evening camp, and it's for all ages. It's free because I just feel like
Hey, my 11-year-old daughter
Yeah.
really does want to be the first female in the NFL
come
as
on-
a kicker.
come
She
on down.
saw what was going on
Yeah.
in Division I sports and all, which was really great. Females kicking for a college team.
Yeah.
She's like, Dad, can't I do that? I said, most sure.
Absolutely.
You can do it, yeah. Like, maybe do what Connor does, avoid all the tackles.
Yes.
That might be a way to preserve your career, but that might be the first lesson.
I can teach her how not
Here's
to
how
tackle.
you don't
Yeah.
get tackled.
Yes, I can. I'm very good at that.
But just realize if you guys have something that you need our help
Yeah.
with,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you that. Toby does a lot for the servicemen, and obviously my family's all been serviced. But I just want you guys to know, call him.
Yeah.
I'm usually
Call
on
me.
the road.
Call
I'm in the shark cage.
Yeah.
Call
You see
him.
that? Call me.
But I mean that. They'll call us
Yeah.
if there's something. We just did one, and I won't go through it. My wife, my daughter did a really great fundraiser. We had a great bartender working with us. Call us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We look
We're
forward.
we're interested in helping you guys and the causes that you think are correct.
We love that.
We do look forward to this partnership very much so. But I will call also Connor for private kicking lessons for my sons. Although maybe I'll call Casey because both my sons, they want they're like sliding and looking for the contact. So
I will say that. I mean, if in all seriousness, if you do really want a contact for kicking, my coach out of Charlotte, Dan Orner, he's been my coach since I was in high school. He kicked at Carolina before me. Then I came, and then my brother. So like he's been coaching me since I was a sophomore in high school. And he's up in he lives up in Charlotte, and he's got a bunch of NFL guys. And I've never seen a guy who can, I know we're talking vodka, but I've never seen a guy who can break down film. Like I'm more of a feel guy. Like I kind of just go with the flow. We get into a lot of arguments just because I'm like not as technical, But he can in 1 second look at my form and just boom, knows exactly.
Let me kick because I'm straight on like Lou Rosa, like Lou the Rosa.
Jack
Dempsey. He came and spoke to us one time. That was pretty cool. But
how'd you do, Chief?
Hey,
we still got to go out. And
okay,
kick a little bit.
I told him I'd run back for him. I said I'm not going to kick. I did win the Baltimore City pump, pass, and kick in 1963. So
are you serious?
Whoa! All right.
So I did pump, pass, and kick too, man. Did you not? That's correct.
That is a great.
Pump, pass, kick, no tackling.
That's correct. As long as no
tackling. That's why I liked it.
As long as there's no tackling, my body feels good.
Hey, for real, before we wrap up, where is the Hoggart camp?
Yeah, so
where's Hoggart?
It's in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Okay.
Hoggart High School.
And it's after July 4th.
It's usually a week or two after July 4th. We'll start probably once May hits, June. We'll start marketing it. We'll get out to all the news outlets and newspapers, and I'll let y'all know. But it's usually later afternoon just because it's a little bit hotter in July. But free camp, I'm a big fan of free. Like I don't feel like it's fair to.
Maybe we'll
do
a. That's when we'll go visit the distillery.
And
bring the kiddos out to the camp.
Seriously, we have kids it's all ages. Literally, like my brother and I will work with some of the older guys. We'll come in and I usually try to get a couple guys from the NFL to come back or. A lot of college guys, high school guys, and it's a fun time. And like I said, it's free. That's the main thing for me. I want it to be free for everybody. Just come out and have a good time. And
I love this whole collaboration with vodka and sports and putting things together that makes sense. You know who else does that, Matt? Proof alcohol ice cream.
Whoa!
Because they take ice cream and they take booze and they squeeze it all together into one little pint with 7% alcohol.
I'm hungry.
Every single one. Well, you're gonna quench your hunger very quickly because we have our branded proof alcohol ice cream freezers in the kitchen studios here, and you'll both go home with a little bit of it. You can choose, coconut rum, or you could do bourbon caramel. There was pumpkin spice. I think we still got a bottle or a pint laying down there somewhere. But proof alcohol ice cream's coming out of Columbia, South Carolina. Good friends of ours. They've been blowing up everywhere. So whether you're at the aforementioned Triangle Wine Company, where you can actually get that proof alcohol ice cream, you could also find it at Lowe's or Total Wine or Harris Teeter, all across the state. So make sure you look for them. They're actually all across the state and in Virginia and South Carolina and I believe in Florida now. So
That's right.
They are starting to blow up. Maybe it's the NCF and bump. Maybe not, but we're going to say it is, yes.
Oh, yeah, it is. Well, this has been awesome, and thank you guys so much. Always really great to meet you, Chief, and you've lived up to all the expectations and more.
Legend.
Connor, thank you for diving deep into those soul painful moments and really sharing with us.
Don't draft a kicker.
Don't draft a kicker. That's your one draft advice. You didn't even get in the draft that's coming up this week.
Just go with an undrafted guy.
Go with an undrafted.
Yeah,
There's plenty of good, talented people out there. Everybody, when you're at the ABC store or you're at your local bar, ask for Blue Shark Vodka, and you will drink very early.
Yes, you will.
Thanks for listening to the NC F&B podcast. And if you've stuck with us this long, review us on iTunes and remember, 5 stars are encouraged.